My name is Dalia Sabit. I am married. I have two children, Joshua and Lily. I am Egyptian. Both my parents are Egyptian. My mother and my father met in Egypt when my mom was fairly young. She was married at 23, and shortly after that, they relocated from Cairo to Kuwait. And my father was not a believer, and at the time my mom was a nominal Christian. She grew up in a Coptic Orthodox home, not really, practicing the traditional way, not ever knowing anything about being saved or born again. So my father left my mom on my first birthday, which was a good thing. It was a blessing, and I think God knew us and loved us before we knew Him and loved Him. And unfortunately, because of the culture and the tradition, when I was born to a father who's of a different religion, that religion is stamped on your birth certificate. And because of that, in school, I would have to study that religion. So I hated it. I didn't like it. And because culturally and by their law, if a person of that religion was not brought up to par, and especially being in a home with a single Christian mother in a Muslim country, by law they could have taken me away from her and replaced me with a Muslim family. So fast forward to age 13. We visited the US for the first time ever. And then while we were in New York, my mom was like, asking the hotel concierge, what else should we see while we're in this area? So they're like, oh, you have to see the falls. It's just 7 hours north. So we took a train and went up to Niagara Falls. And while we were there, my mom ran into an Egyptian family who are extended family, and my mom hadn't seen them in 20 years. They're like, you have to come and you have to stay with us for a few days. And my mom was like, all right. And we stayed with them and got to go to their church, their Coptic Orthodox church. While we went there, I made friends, other kids my age, and I asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, I want to visit with them, this is fun. Can we extend our stay? It's like, okay, we'll do it. My mom made the change. And then we continued touring. We went back to Colorado Springs and visited again with my mom's aunt. And while we were there, we wake up on August 2nd to the news that Kuwait had been invaded.
On the morning of August 2nd, thousands of people in Kuwait City woke up to war. By mid-morning, thousands of troops had swarmed into the capital.
My mom contacted the embassy in Washington, D.C., the Kuwaiti embassy, and they helped us with getting the necessary papers together because we were now refugees. And so one day, I come home and I'm sitting down, and so I saw a light, an unordinary light. So I was intrigued, and I got up and I went to see what that was. And it was an image of what I saw it to be a big cross, and then a little cross next to it. In the middle of the big cross was like a profile. So I picked up the camera and took a picture of the image. My mom came home and I told her, Mom, something happened today. And I told her what happened, and I told the homeowners. And they're like, yeah, you were probably imagining stuff. And then my mom said something amazing. She said, look, we'll develop the pictures, and even if the image doesn't come through, I want you to know that I believe that you saw what you saw. So they took the film with them to Kodak the following day, the homeowners, and developed the pictures and came back exactly as I described it. So they called the priest from the church, and they're like, you have to come see this. So he came in, and he's like, this girl needs to be baptized like ASAP, So Saturday, I got baptized in an Orthodox church, and that was a very emotional day for me because, I got a certificate saying that I'm Christian. So that was really cool. I love that so much, and it was to the point where my mom was like, you know what, that war in Kuwait was for you. So this could happen, you know. We start church shopping. So my mom, she started to babysit because that's the one thing she could do. And so one of the families that she had known for about a year, she heard of my mom's shopping, and she's like, why don't you come try my church? So my mom was like, okay. We go, and it's this huge church. But what I loved the most was the diversity. It was amazing. It was like all walks of the world were in this place doing the same thing. And I'm just observing now. I'm just checking it out. And at one point during praise and worship, I looked around and I saw this guy in front of me. He must have been in his 40s, 50s, with hands raised to the sky, and his eyes are closed, and, tears came down his face, and I just said, why is he crying? And then I said, I want what he has. He's feeling something, and I want it, So we decided, I told my mom, I want to come back. It was in December, and I know that I was 17. And I gave my heart to the Lord, and everything wasn't perfect after that. I still need a lot of work even today. But it's just so nice to know that we have that grace and the unending mercy that He gives us.